Hey world. Sorry I've been gone for so long. I've been kind of lost in my own deal for like a little while. And I'm back, though. I'm back on the scene. For the people's delight, you want peace. For the people didn't say all right because the secret government's got nothing on me. We got to take the power from ye. Shout out to the Beastie Boys homies out there. I got in trouble a couple years ago. Like at the beginning of 2012, I got in trouble for some pot. And like 10 months later, I got put on probation for a little while. And so for 2 years, I was living under the thumb of the man. And maybe I've already shared this, but that really, really sucked. That was like the worst experience ever. But at the time, it was pretty benevolent because it sort of helped me evaluate myself and where I'm going and what I'm doing with my whole journey and my process. And it really helped put me into a state of refreshed focus. And that was really, really helpful, really humbling, really, I don't know if enlightening is the word, but yeah, it shed light on things with me, for me. And it helped me get my priorities in order, which was really helpful. And so, and then during that time, I quit smoking weed. I wasn't smoking cigs. I was very much on the straight and narrow and the path that I felt was right for me at the time. And I was putting out some videos, like they're all out there during that time frame. And then, I don't know, like a year into it, it just started getting bogged down, dude. Being under the thumb of the man sucks. And I started feeling the weight of that emotionally. And I started letting that really alter where I was at. And it really altered my process and how I was dealing with myself, you know, my thoughts, my feelings, my anxieties, my addictions. You know, after a while of being in that situation, I just felt I guess pressure is the word. It was, I don't know. I'm not sure how to really explain that any better, but it sucked. And I started smoking weed again, started smoking cigs again, started getting back into slowly too. It was like, man, fuck, I want to smoke some weed. You know, and I'm kind of riding. I was riding that train of thought of I'm just gonna do what I feel like I want to do. I feel like I want to do this. I'm gonna do it. And so I started smoking weed a little bit. And no, scratch that. I started smoking cigs a little bit. And I smoke like organic tobacco rolled in raw papers, so I have all kinds of reasons to justify why it might be more okay. And I know it's not okay inside me. I have no business judging what other people do, as I've said before, but for me personally, I know that like smoking cigs is not the way. There's a little voice inside of me that says, you know, if you want all those things that you want, if you want to do backflips down the middle of the street and be an active person for the rest of your life and live to be hundreds of years old, then smoking cigs isn't really going to help you get there, so you should leave that behind. And there was just a period where I just felt like, you know, I don't even care. I'm just going to set aside all of my things I know I should be doing and just do what I want to do in the moment, even if it's not productive. And so one cig turned into, after like a couple weeks, you know, smoking full time, it's like one cig late at night. And the first one sucks ass, dude. After you haven't been smoking for a long time and then you smoke that first cig, it's really not that great. You think it might be so wonderful, and it's really not that great. And so that's helpful now, because if I would want to smoke, I just know that it's not going to be that good, you know, even though it sounds good. The idea of it sounds good. It sounds romantic, you know, smoking a cig under the awning in the rain with a warm cup of something. Nah, dude, it's never that great, you know. You end up feeling like shit after, and it's just not worth it. Don't do it. But at the time, I was like, okay, I'm going to run with this. And then that lasted for a little while. I slowly started smoking. It got into it full time. I was still not smoking weed. I'm on probation. They're drug testing me once a month. I felt like I didn't want to have to lie to my probation officer, so I was just not going to smoke weed. And that lasted for a while. And you know, I passed many drug tests, and it all worked out really good. And then I started justifying it like, okay, maybe if I just smoke right after I meet him for like a week or two, you know, then I could probably get away with it. That'd be okay. And I was kind of dancing with that a little bit. And then I got caught. Like, he tested me. I tested positive. He's like, when'd you smoke weed? I was like, I smoked weed like 2 weeks ago. I couldn't sleep. I thought I could just smoke some weed and you would never know. And he's like, all right, man, don't do that again. And didn't violate my probation, you know, the consequences, there weren't really any. He was just like, it was more in myself. I felt like I let him down, you know, because I'm trying to be honest about it, and I was sneaking around behind his back was how I felt. Even though he's just the probation officer, it's not like he's your parent when you're an underage kid. I don't know what it's not like, but you know. The feeling of having to dodge something like that is really uncomfortable. And I don't want to do that at all, man. I don't want to live with lies. I don't want to live with shadows. I don't want to have to hide things from people at all. In my thinking, in my feeling, I don't want to have thoughts that I wouldn't share with everybody, with my grandmother, with a 5-year-old, with everybody in between. I don't want to have shadow stuff in me, you know. I want to live transparent. And so lying to this dude about smoking weed was like not conducive for where I wanted to be, or where I said I wanted to be. So that felt really uncomfortable, but I was doing it anyway. And that worked out pretty good for a little while. Like, I got caught, and then I stopped smoking weed, and you know, I was kind of riding that wave up and down of dabbling and letting it go. And maybe I'd smoke for 3 or 4 days right after I'd meet him, and then I wouldn't smoke for the rest of the month, and then he wouldn't test me, and I'd be okay. But I didn't really have it in my system anyway, so I was good. And then 2 years of probation passed. I was scheduled for 3, and I did everything right, and I only had that one slip up, and they let me off probation early. I kind of pressed for it, you know. I was like, dude, let me out of here. I want to go travel, dude. I want to be in Cottonwood, Arizona in the wintertime, and elsewhere, anywhere but fucking Duluth, Minnesota in the wintertime, dude. It's really uncomfortable. And I want to be free, dude. I want to go skate things. I want to meet people. I want to explore. And being on probation doesn't help me do that. I just needed to be out from under that. And they understood, and I was doing everything right. So they were like, yeah, sure, we'll let you off. And the judge agreed, and they let me off. Boom, a year early. Holler. And that happened in October. So today's November 21st of 2014. And that happened in October of 2014. I got off, like, the very beginning of October. And that was like just the weight lifted, man. Finally, I'm free from the man. I can like do what I want, go where I want, be what I want. I'm free. The only inhibitor with being on probation was not being able to travel and not being able to have the option to smoke weed if I wanted to, or even drink alcohol, which isn't really that much of an issue. I don't really care about alcohol too much, but it's nice to be able to drink a delicious Left Hand Stout. Is it the Left Hand Stout? I just got turned on to like the Left Hand Brewing Company, and they make a milk cream stout, and it blows my mind. And I just want to drink one. They're so good, dude. I just want to taste that. And to have the man tell me I can't, dude, that is unacceptable. The man is not in a position to tell me I can or can't do anything. The man works for me, or so it ought to be. At any rate, being under the thumb of the man sucked. Finally got out from under it. Started to get my freedom back. Was still in the daily routine of smoking weed, you know. I was back into it, man. I was smoking weed and cigs, like, full time. And doing my best with my thoughts to keep myself on track. I mean, hip to the spiritual stuff. You can't forget it. You can't forget that you're one with everything in existence. And so you're at home in God right now, in the one force, in the loving presence. And you can surrender into that, and that feels really good. And there's peace with that. But the loving presence is dropping hints in your consciousness all the time, at least in mine and in yours for sure. That the divine mind is communicating with us 100% of the time. And when we're cutting it off, we're feeling negative emotion all the time about stuff, you know? I'm like, I should be doing this, and this, and I'm not, and I feel really uncomfortable about that. And I had that voice speaking kind of loud, and it was affecting me emotionally, you know. I was very unhappy. And so every night I would just sedate myself with weed, watch fucking shows or movies or whatever with my brother and my friends, and you know, we just like download crap off the internet and like watch it, like every Game of Thrones episode or every Mad Men episode or like whatever show we're getting into, every crappy movie that comes down the line, you know, anything to keep me from being clear and sober and connecting and meditating and writing stuff and exploring what's going on inside of me. I don't know why I was running. Because the peace feels so good, but the routine feels good too. I think it's kind of about routine. We just like having routines of whatever it is. And then you get locked into one and you don't want to give it up. It's routine, you know, you want to keep doing it. That was my feeling. Every night I was like grabbing the cheesy poofs at the co-op and going home and like watching something and like eating crappy food. I mean, you know, organic crappy food, like milk and dairy products and flour and stuff, you know, everything but like raw food. 80% raw, like raw till 4 kind of thing that they talk about, you know, Freely and Durian and those people. And like, it for me, it wasn't what I wanted to do. Because at night it was all like toxic shit, you know, cheesy poofs and macaroni and cheese with tater tots in them. It's I don't know, it's not where I want to be. And I was having a really hard time pulling myself out of that. And so I got this opportunity to come to Arizona, and that really helped me break the cycle. And so I'll tell you all about that in the next video, but that's the gist of where I've been. I'd like to say I'm back. If anyone cares, you know, who cares what I'm doing? I don't know. If you care, thank you. Hi, I love you. I'm here to help you. I'm here to get this stuff off my chest so I don't have to carry it around, and hopefully inspire some of y'all. If you find it meaningful, then mission accomplished. Much love.